Hi, everyone, and welcome back. This is week 13 on Cathy's carnivore journey. Hi, Cathy, welcome.
Hello.
Last week, for anybody who was watching, you would have heard me lead Cathy to incorrectly say she was 4 months in. And I've texted you to apologize for that because it's 3 months. My math wasn't mathing.
I did
But
think at the time, but I thought, oh, maybe I've got that wrong. So I didn't challenge it. But anyway,
yeah,
doesn't matter.
I mean, I doubled down. I said, and it's been 4 months, 4 months. And it's just like, I wish I could have cut that out. But anyway, so 3 months, that's actually a lot different than 4 months, it feels like to me. Does it seem like that to you? Just technically, 3 months feels different than 4 months?
Well, I think from what I've investigated, between 3 and 4 months, a lot of shifts happen. So I'm kind of looking forward to this month of the shifts.
You must have wondered if you got ripped off from the shifts because here we were saying 4 months last week. And you're
No, I
like,
was pretty,
but
uh,
you've
pretty
had
sure it
big
was three.
Yeah, you've had big shifts. And in fact, you texted me this week saying, my iPhone doesn't recognize me.
Well, it's very hit and miss. So sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to change and add a new appearance because I don't want it to lock me out. So
Yeah.
I kept doing it the other morning and it was like, no, no, no. And I thought, this is weird. But now I'm going to add you can add another appearance. So I'm going to do that just to make sure
Mhm.
that as I slim down, the iPhone keeps up with me.
That's great. Great. And there was a lot of physical changes that you kind of had noticed last week. You had kind of crossed that line where you were really starting to notice big changes rather than just, is this changing? I mean, health wise, you've been feeling great the whole time, pretty much. But you have had some symptoms that have come up in different stages. So you're still healing and so on. But talk about this last week. What have you experienced in terms of challenges or triumphs?
Well, I feel like there's been an internal shift when I hit 12 weeks. Because I just feel like it was such a radical change for me, like those first 12 weeks and really a radical change. Like I gave up carbs and sugar overnight, which I never ever thought was a possibility for me. And look, have been one of the lucky ones that I haven't had the massive symptoms and side effects that a lot of people do get. But saying that, I was so sick that possibly I did have them and just didn't recognize them because I was so ill anyway. So for me, anything was better than where I was.
Mm,
So I would say I like the first 12 weeks obviously was massive, but now I feel like I'm ready to take it to the next level. So now I'm pretty much lion because I just really want to escalate those results. And obviously you and I have we're running an event in February
mhm,
and that's a really big goal for me because last time I went, I feel like I was really sick and did not look good. And I was
mm.
struggling through the whole weekend. And you've known me a long time, so you could see it. And I'm excited to go back and hopefully people will see a big difference, which is obviously, it's encouraging because people in my everyday life haven't really said anything about my physical changes. Most people see me from the shoulders up, so they probably wouldn't have realized the physical changes. But people in my life that I've seen haven't said, "Oh my goodness, like you're a lot smaller than you were," or anything like that. But maybe that's not what they focused on about me.
Mm,
But I am looking forward to when I am in the world and it's obvious. Do you know what I mean? It's obvious that things have changed. So I'm
yeah.
looking forward. I'm still a bit puffy on my neck. And that I read up on it. That's like your lymph nodes and everything draining, and that there's still some
Mhm,
inflammation getting rid. And when you've done the first 12 weeks, from what I've researched, your body starts to trust you, levels start to level out and balance. And it's like, okay, I feel like this is the new way of being. I can start releasing some of this old stuff now. So I
mhm.
feel like that first 3 months was a deep recalibration, and not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And I think it's really important to highlight that this is just a physical thing. This is an emotional thing. This is a mental thing because I thought before, like I was totally run by food and emotions, 100%. I would say that I was addicted to sugar, 100%. Um, and mentally, I felt like failure.
Mm.
because I didn't have the willpower to be able to do it. I just was weak, you know. And I was talking to a friend of mine who has lost a significant amount of weight, and she looks great. And she was talking about it. It was so funny because we were chatting and she's having a few health things. And she said, "What is it that you're doing?" And I just said, "Well, I'm doing carnivore." She went, "Shut the front door." She said, "My partner said yesterday you should do carnivore." And I said, "Can you imagine? That's terrible." We said, "I can't believe you're doing it." I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "I've never looked back." I said, "I'm never, I just feel like I've found the secret magic for me, the secret sauce for me, which is no
Yeah.
sauce, by the way." But, it's interesting. The cleaner you become in your body, the cleaner you want to be. So, and it's interesting to observe your body's reactions. So I went out for a meal. I went to see a medium, actually. I'll talk to you about that later. I went to see a medium on Saturday night and I did get a reading, which was interesting. And I had steak and prawns, and the prawns had like a creamy garlic sauce. And I just thought, well, mainly I'm beef and water and salt, but I thought I will indulge a little bit tonight. And I took the prawns out of the sauce and cut them up and whatever. But my face went itchy afterwards, because I've had this acne.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you
So
think
that
was in that sauce? Do you think it was
cream,
wheat?
cream. I think it
Just
was
cream, the
cream.
dairy did it.
I think so, yeah, because when I've had
Interesting.
dairy, it has made me a bit inflamed. So I think, unfortunately, although I love cream, at this
Yeah,
stage in my carnivore journey anyway, when I'm in that real cleansing and healing stage, I'm just
yeah.
dairy free now.
That's interesting because I just listened to my car, but it is a video from Low Carb Down Under. And he's a doctor talking about the reasons that people don't lose fat or the experience of losing fat on the carnivore diet. And one of the things that he flagged for people, he said when people come to him, he has a clinic in Perth, Australia. And he says that he only sees people and I'll put in a link to this video in the comments, in the show notes below so people can check it out. It's a great video and I'll do my best not to botch it up. But the information in it, he said he only sees people in his clinic who are having trouble with carnivore because people that are not having trouble don't need to go to the doctor. So one of the things that they'll come to him with is that they're not losing the weight that they wanted to lose. And he told a couple of stories about, kind of gave a list of all the things that it can be. One of the stories that he said, first of all, because I don't want to forget, want to mention, it was someone who had a significant amount of weight to lose. They went carnivore and a year later, they started to actually lose weight after a year of carnivore. And he said to this person, "How did you stick to it when it wasn't you weren't losing the weight?" I'm just curious, how, because that was your motivation for going carnivore. And then it took like a year and then the weight started falling off. And this person had given him permission to speak about her particular case. And he said that was a case where her body had so much healing to do that and he said, how could you stick with carnivore? And she goes, "I just felt so much better. Just in so many ways, it was just an easier way to eat. So I just stuck with it anyway because, I hadn't felt that good. And I thought, oh, the weight will come off, whatever. I'll figure something else out, but at least I'm enjoying eating this way." So then a year later, suddenly the weight she starts metabolizing fat like crazy and losing a lot of weight. But one of the reasons that he said that he asks people, so he asks them what they've been eating. And the very first thing he says is, "Describe what you eat to me." And people who say that they are carnivore, he said a lot of times when they're not seeing the results with their health or their weight or all of those things, they'll tell him what they're eating and what they're drinking, and it's not carnivore. He said people think carnivore is just eating more meat.
Hmm.
And he said, no, carnivore is not eating all these other things. And he gave an example of somebody who said, "I'm carnivore, but I'm having these problems." And it turns out that they were drinking wine still, you know? And he said something interesting that I had never heard before. Alcohol stops you from metabolizing fat, the stored fat in your body. It actually gets in the way. So that's interesting. I want to make a whole video where I just list the things that he said and like really do a review of that video. Another one is dairy. to bring back to what reminded me to talk about this. And he said that because of all of the things that are in dairy that helps little baby cows get big, it can be really inflammatory and make weight loss really hard for people. And in terms of dairy for me, I used to love dairy and cheese. I had my beautiful cappuccino every day. And then I started doing it with cream for the first probably 6 months of carnivore. I was doing heavy cream with decaf in it and so on and loved it. And cheese, I would try carnivore recipes that often have a lot of cheese in them. That's how they achieve the making something taste like a carb version. It involves cheese. And I'm at the point now where I'm just not interested in cheese that much. Like I made Parmesan little crisps the other day. A friend was over and I was trying to make this viral carnivore chips, which is where you mix up, I'm trying to think what you make it with. Did I tell you about this recipe where you make it's like egg white? You whip up egg white and you put a little bit of Parmesan cheese, hard cheese in the egg white, and you put it in these muffin cups and bake it in the oven, and it comes out like these little crisps, and they're salty and there's a bit more to it than that, but that's basically it. It was a nightmare. I mean, I invited her over to have this carnivore snack that I was going to try. It kept sticking. It was awful. I probably did it the wrong way. I ended up taking a silicone baking mat and just putting little clumps of Parmesan because I had some pate for us to have on our little chips. The chips were like torn apart and didn't work. So I just took Parmesan cheese, put them on the little thing, baked them. Brilliant, beautiful little crackers to put liver on. Anyway, I wasn't tempted to have these little crackers the next day or the next day or the next day. And thinking about them now doesn't make my mouth water and, oh, I'm so excited to do it again. I know I would enjoy it and I will enjoy doing that again, maybe, a month from now or who knows when. But what's interesting is when you've been off dairy for a while, you lose the craving for it.
I think it's a shift. I mean, for the first time in decades, and I can say that with confidence, I feel so dedicated to my evolution, to my health. I'm so excited to drop sizes now. I'm so excited to become the person that I am and that I see myself as, because a lot of the time I'd looked in the mirror and thought, that's not who I am. Like, I don't feel like that person. So I'm really excited to be coming home to myself. And I was having a
Mm.
discussion over this meal, surf and turf, the other night. And I was saying to my friend, I feel like this is for me. And my life has been, as many people's stories are, my life has been really dedicated to others. Like we've got 5 complex kids. They needed a lot of my attention, a lot of my intention. A husband that works away 3 out of 4 weeks. We're immigrants, so we didn't have any family support. So it's been a lot.
Mm.
And I feel like, as a lot of us do, kind of put myself on the sidelines a little bit to really be dedicated to my family and my business. And now I feel like, because it's so easy, and this is what my friend who lost a lot of weight said. She said, "Oh, it's so hard." I went, "Actually, babe, it really hasn't been hard for me. Like I can't say that in all integrity, because I found it quite easy. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. Like if it was hard, I wouldn't be able to do it. With everything else I hold in my life, I just wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to sustain it."
Yeah.
And I actually, like this weekend, drum roll please, me and my girls went into my room and I'm throwing out a massive bin bag full of clothes.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Let's talk about that. I want to hear about that weekend. I love
Yeah.
it. I love
So
it.
my daughter came to stay, and my son's girlfriend, and we're all very close. And I said, "Right, girls, I need your input," because I said my journey with clothes shopping over the last 2 decades, quite frankly, and I've said this to you before, has been me going into a shop and going to the size section and then
Yeah.
thinking, okay, what could I possibly get away with in here that doesn't make me look older than I am, that doesn't make me look bigger than I am, that doesn't make me look, try to get it as close to who I believe my personality is. Can I express that through the clothes here? I don't know, but I know that these will fit. And number one, I've got 79 suitcases full of all of the sizes under the sun. So I'm really excited as I move down the scale to be able to go, oh, I really loved this, but it's too big now. I can release it because I'm not going back again. I'm just not going back. And I'm looking forward to opening up these suitcases. And then, because I said to the girls, this is going to be several sessions, right? And so it was like some of the things I'm not quite down into yet, but I'm nearly there. So that was exciting. It was nice to be able to go into my wardrobe and rediscover what I have. It was nice to be able to release the pieces that I bought because of the size, not because I liked it. And some of the things I put on, I thought, gosh, what was I thinking? But then I was trying to cover a
Yeah.
multitude of things. Do you know what I mean? And it made me look old and frumpy, and I'm so glad I've released that. And so it's exhausting. Like I did find it quite tiring, but it was great. And now I can walk into my closet. There is space between my clothes, which is great. And so the next time, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe we can revisit it again and see how things are. But I am excited to be able to get into the pieces. Everybody's got something in their wardrobe that they buy and go, I'll slim into that. That's
What's
my
yours?
target. That's my
What's
goal.
your favorite?
I have got a shirt actually, and it's in one of the suitcases. It's a very small 14. So it's a very, very petite 14. I would say it's more like a 10, 12. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sort of long shirt that you would wear with jeans. And it's got this intricate pattern of flowers. And it's just really lovely. And I've never let go of it because I've always wanted to wear it and I've never been able to wear it. So that's one of the pieces somewhere in my suitcases that, I'd love to get down into because I feel who I am is that shirt, which is very gorgeous, 3/4 length shirt with really wide bottom jeans and my DM boots. That's where I want to go out for a meal and do that. So that's my
Beautiful.
casual self. Yeah, like my working self is a bit different, but my casual self, that's what I would be.
So, you've got all those suitcases. Did you crack open the suitcases this weekend, or did you start with just what's in the closet that's too big now?
Yeah, because I have not got the bandwidth or the energy to do everything at once. So we
Of
just
course
did
not,
my
no.
closet today. I haven't done my drawers yet, but I will do my drawers. There's the stuff I need to
Mhm.
get rid of in my drawers as well.
Yeah.
And I want to get some little, because I've got some really fabulous skirts and really beautiful things. So I want to get some little tops to go with those.
Mhm.
So I will look out for that. But I feel I'm getting more ignited and excited about clothes again because I've dreaded it. I always buy everything online. I hate just trying things on in shops. It's hot. The mirrors are horrible. The lighting's terrible. I mean, even in
Yeah.
our local, I can't say, a very famous local department store, I go in there and the change rooms are terrible. And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know.
why? Do you want people to buy stuff or not? Do you know what I mean?
I
This is a
know.
really bad vibe in here. So I'm kind of excited, number one, to explore what I have. And then once I'm down to that and I'm down to the slimline sort of strategically intended closet rather than the let's shove everything in there and hope something fits closet, that will be exciting to go clothes shopping and just see something that I
Yeah.
really am drawn to, knowing that there'll be a size that will fit me and that I'll look good in it. I'm excited for that.
Well, don't make the mistake I did of buying clothes on the way down in sizes
Well, I don't need to. I've
because
got everything.
yeah, I had a television appearance, and that was my big excuse to go because I had nothing that looked good, and so I went and bought I was just gonna buy 1 pair of slacks and a blouse because I wanted to just, have something where I felt good and professional and presentable and everything, and, I ended up buying 3 or 4 it was exciting buying things even because I had gone down 2 sizes. I've gone down 4 sizes now, but I'd gone down 2 sizes, and so it was exciting, and so I bought options so I could bring them home, try them on. I made sure everything I bought could be returned so that I would just keep the things that I was gonna wear on TV, and then I'd keep those. And, I ended up keeping about 5 or 6 of these pieces. And in my car right now, I have 3 of them. They were slacks, which I loved. They looked so good, but I haven't been able to wear them because I didn't wear them on the TV appearance, but I kept them because I loved them and it was so fun having clothes that fit me. And now I have to probably get them tailored or taken in or something like. I'm not willing to they had the tags on them still because I kept losing the weight. And so they very quickly got too big. And then now they're hilariously too big. Like it's like moving them side to side. And so don't make that mistake. But the stuff that you got rid of, I was just curious to know if you had this experience. Like I bought, I had really decided that I was a larger size for the rest of my life and would probably continue to get larger. So I was buying stuff like good quality, not inexpensive. Like I had a few linen shirt kind of blouse, kind of tunic things that were huge because I had to. They were, and so moving those along, taking those to an op shop or something, that was painful. I kept saying, I didn't say, oh, I might be able to fit them again someday. That was the I might gain weight and fit this again someday thing wasn't there anymore. But it was just, my goodness, it's such good quality and it's a really nice piece. I'm swimming in it. And the other thing is looking at it and thinking, it's so sad because the reason I bought this is to cover up my body. That's why I bought this tent-like thing. Did you have things like that in your closet that were nice quality tents?
100%. Yeah. I mean, one of them I put on and I said, I look like I'm 85 and running some kind of, you know, um, immune. I was just like, it's just this massive thing. But yeah, I mean, it was what can I wear as well that is cool in the summer, right?
Yeah.
Because you get hot. So I was like things that would let air flow and all that sort of thing. But no, I mean, now I'm in this dress is a size down. So I'm pleased with that. And I've got a few other things that are size down. So now I feel like I'm comfortably in the next size down. And then I'll just keep going and, keep slimming, which is great. And I've got a pair of jeans in my wardrobe as well that are quite expensive that I've never worn. So I'm excited to get into those.
And so now in your closet, so in your suitcases are all clothes that are too small right now, right? Okay. In your closet, are there only clothes that either fit you now or maybe a bit too small or kind of aspirational clothing? Or is the jeans kind of the only item of clothing that's in your closet at the moment that's too small?
I would say 80%, probably 90% of the clothes are now clothes. And there's a couple of pieces in there that I'm not. The jeans I'm nowhere near at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's going to be closer to when I'm really at my target. But there's a really pretty dress in there that's the next size down, but it's a small next size down. Like it's a smaller, you know how you get
Yeah.
different cuts and different
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a next dress, so it's gonna be slightly smaller and
Yeah.
more petite. So,
Yeah.
but I really love it. And the girls actually weren't fussed on that one. I said, this is one that I actually really, really love, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. And I might put it on and go, oh yeah, it's not me. But I'm not gonna
Yeah.
throw it until I can try it on.
Yeah, I did that where I tried on when I lost quite a bit of weight when I was doing the shakes, the OptiFast shakes before my bounce back, like to the highest weight I'd ever been in my life, which was I think I was 2 kilos heavier than I am now. But I had bought a bunch of clothes in Los Angeles because the clothes were so much less expensive there for good quality and so on. So when I would go back and visit friends, I would always buy things. And I was at a low weight when I went to Los Angeles and then I'd bounced back up. So when I buy clothes in the dip and then I bounce back up, well, I think something like 10 years had gone by, more than 10, 13 years had gone by. And I dug into all these clothes and I'd aged out of them. Some of them I could still wear, but some of them I looked in the mirror and I went, no, I am not in
Yeah.
this stage of my life anymore wearing like a little frilly kind of peasant dress kind of a thing that's like short. Yeah. If I squint, I can kind of think, oh, I could get away with it. But yeah, no. And so you're right. But making those decisions based on who I am now, what I feel comfortable in now, rather than just, oh, it doesn't fit me. It's just a joyful place to be. And
Mm.
the op shop, or where did you take the clothes? Did you take it to?
Oh, I haven't yet. I haven't had a chance because we literally did it yesterday.
Oh,
And today's been crazy. So no, I
mm,
haven't. But it'll go in the boot and it will go to an op shop. Yeah, some pieces I will sell just because they're very high quality pieces, but other
yeah.
pieces I'll just let go.
Yeah?
Couple of things that I'll say
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
number one, I can put my finger where my watch is. Number two, I'm careful with my rings because my rings are getting looser, which is great. And something I keep mentioning, wanting to mention, but keep forgetting, um, and probably TMI for everybody, but if you're a tongue scraper, which I am, I scrape my tongue every morning, much cleaner. My tongue is so much cleaner. So prior to carnivore, lots of plaque coming off the scrape and now virtually nothing. So that's been a really interesting observation as well, because obviously your tongue gets rid of a lot of toxins overnight. And so when
Yeah.
you clean your teeth, I always scrape my tongue. And before it was very plaquey and now it's pretty clean.
Yeah, that's interesting, and by with plaque, do you just mean the stuff that builds up on your tongue, or is it literally the same stuff that builds up on your teeth?
No, I mean, it's a very thick consistency that you would
Mm,
have to really wash off of the tongue cleaner. Whereas now I just rinse it under the tap and it's done because it's basically toothpaste that I'm scraping off now rather than a very
right.
sort of browny colored plaque, which is what I was scraping off before.
How long did it take for that change to happen
Not long. I would say within the
so
first week.
within the first week? Interesting. So that was probably directly about, well, could have been anything. Could have been the glucose, like your insulin. What was going on with that, with the fact that you cut the
Processing
sugar out?
processing stuff that wasn't designed to feed my body. Because
Yeah, right. You
how much stuff are we conditioned into eating that is actually not feeding our bodies?
yeah. And her body's struggling to offload the chemical and the toxic load of it. And how's your energy? Energy still really good?
Energy's pretty good. I am a little bit weary because I've had all of the kids home this weekend, so it's just me and
Yeah.
them, and there's a lot of food involved when the kids are home. So it's a lot of cooking, a
Yeah.
lot of cleaning up from cooking. So I
Yeah.
haven't really stopped this weekend, and I do love my Sundays normally because I find them pretty
Mm.
sacred to really deeply rest and restore. And I haven't had that this weekend, so I am feeling a little bit weary, but I'm going till 9 o'clock tonight, and I feel
Mm.
confident that I will sustain till 9 o'clock tonight.
Yesterday, I had on Saturday, so today's Monday. On Saturday, I made a bunch of carnivore, like little meatballs with just beef mince or ground beef for anybody watching in North America, where we call it ground beef, and bacon that I had chopped up. And I do this now at least once a week, where I just make a bunch of these little meatballs and eat them when they're hot out of the oven, but then put a whole bunch of them in the fridge. And yesterday, I was just feeling really, I'd had a T-bone steak at breakfast that I had defrosted from the night before. I realized, oh, I better eat that. Once you defrost something, you have to eat it pretty quickly. So I grilled that, ate that. And then it was probably about 4 hours later, which is unusually short amount of time for me to feeling hungry. I wasn't really feeling hungry, but I was just feeling low energy. And I thought, why do I have low energy? And then I thought about that T-bone, and it wasn't as much actual meat, you know? It didn't have a very big sort of the eye fillet, whatever on one side wasn't very big. And I looked at the actual, I thought that's kind of like a more of a more of a small steak, rather than bigger.
Mm.
So I thought maybe I just need more. And then I remembered those meatballs. And I went in the fridge and I just ate two of them cold. And my energy immediately shot up. So, even though I've been doing this for over a year, there are still moments where I will undereat by accident. So just make sure
Mm.
that in all of that, when you have that higher caloric need that particular day, because you're go, 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 it's not your normal relaxing Sunday. It could be that you kind of have to get enough. Again, it's about protein to get to get enough nutrition to feed your body when you've had your need is higher because you've been going more. So that's just something to kind of make sure that you're getting enough food to compensate for that extra whole day of the week that you weren't able to
Mm.
slow down yesterday.
And also, I mean, there has been a couple of days where I have been ravenous, like ravenous. And
Yeah.
I've just honored my body and eaten. So I mean, I've
Yeah.
had like two big steaks for breakfast and then a steak for lunch, then two big steaks because I've been ravenous. like really
Yeah.
hungry. And I'm like, okay, well, something's happening because there's other days
Yeah.
where I can have 2 meals a day and be perfectly fine and satiated and happy. But
Mm.
there have been some days I'm like, oh my God, like, what is going on? And I'm like, I need to eat. Like, this is a primary feeling. This isn't,
Yes.
I think I'll have some chips. I think I'll have, this is like, I need to eat. Like, I need something in my body. And so there have been a days where I've really, what some people might say, overindulged, but I only ate till I was full and then I was
Yeah.
calm. But there have been, and I only ate the stuff we're allowed to eat on it. I didn't eat anything that I wasn't supposed to eat. And then other days I've been like 2 meals is perfectly fine and I'm happy with it. But far out, these other days I was like, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I need to eat.
I was like that. I think I mentioned that in another video. I was like that for about 3 weeks, about a month or so ago. And I don't know if it was emotional eating because of my, the thing, that happened with my sister losing her dog and me just grieving with her about that. Stress in my business, I don't know. I just was voraciously hungry. I was eating only carnivore food. I wasn't even tempted to go outside of that. But I was aware, boy, I'm eating so much more than I have. I stopped kind of doing natural time restricted eating. I stopped doing too mad. And I just watched myself doing it and thought, I don't know what's going on, and then it kind of ended about 2 weeks ago. It just stopped. It was just, I went back to normal. I went back to not being hungry. Like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning now and I haven't been hungry. And for quite a while, for about 3 weeks, I started eating at like 8 o'clock, 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning because I was hungry when I woke up. And I just went, I'm going to obey this. I think it's a good sign that you're listening to your body and you're not giving into cravings necessarily. It's kind of like priming. The whole purpose of priming,
Mm.
it's kind of like a metabolic reset. And it could be that at this stage, because you've reached another sort of threshold, another milestone in your carnivore healing journey, that your body was just like wanting, okay, time to do another priming, time to do some priming for however many days. And you did it. And maybe that's what pushed these toxins out into your skin that you're experiencing. Your body just. So I think it's great that you're listening to your body. And
And what a gift that is to actually honor your body and
yeah,
not inflict rules on it, not inflict pain on it, not damaging it, not hurting it, but actually listening to it. Finally,
yeah,
and
yeah.
saying, if that's what you want, that's what I'm going to give you. And my whole focus now is on feeding my body, not on what can I eat. It's on actually, I am fueling my body in the right way. And I'm really excited about the next phase. As I said, I'm pretty much lion now, which is exciting. One thing as well before we jump off,
Yeah.
I did feel I wasn't drinking enough water. So I
Yeah.
had really, I mean, I've got dry eyes anyway, but my eyes were excruciatingly dry. And I was
Mm.
like, let me analyze this. And I thought, I'm not having enough water. I'm having my elements, but I'm not balancing that with enough clean, pure water. So I've now gone into my chat GBT coaches and we've got a whole new hydration plan, which I'm very excited about.
Good. How long have you been doing that for?
Just since the weekend, because it was really
Okay.
like, I was sat on Saturday night and I was like, God, my eyes are so sore. I don't think
Yeah.
sore's the right word, just really intensely uncomfortable because they're so dry. And I always
Yeah.
have eye drops by my bed because I wake up in the middle of the night and have to put eye drops in. That's how dry my eyes are. So I thought, okay, I
Yeah.
really need to up my hydration now because and I think it's phases of, the first 12 weeks, I was having pork, I was having, bacon, sausages, eggs, all of the things that now I'm like, I'm ready to
Yeah.
go to that next phase now. I couldn't have forced it before because if you force
No.
it, it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, right, I need to take this hydration seriously and I need to really up
Yeah.
that. So that's on my agenda for the next phase is much more hydration.
I love how logical you're sounding, and it echoes how what my experience was when I found myself saying, "Now I need to increase my iodine, so I'm going to start having seafood 3 times a week," and just sort of obeying what was going on and responding to what I saw in my blood test, and sort of pulling the different levers of carnivore. And it was so funny because I was able to do it so logically and dispassionately
Mhm.
and emotion free and kind of like you would do with your pet. If you have a pet and you've got a cat that's shedding too much and you go to the vet and the vet goes, "Oh, you need to up the this and do the this and do the that." You don't feel emotional about the how you don't feel like, "Oh, I feel resistant to giving my cat extra liver or something." You know what I mean? It's just your body, you're just responding. And I'm just so aware of the contrast between that and any kind of biohacking that I would see other people do or be made aware of as a possibility. And I would just think, I have too much emotional connection to food to do any biohacking because I might feel like I can get past my emotional connection to food for a few hours one day, or the next day, but I'll be resistant on day 2 or procrastinate or forget on day 3. And it just wasn't possible because there was, again, like I mentioned last week, it was that adversarial reaction relationship with my body where I just felt like it's all I can do to hang on and
Mm.
and not hate myself for the way that I am constantly quote failing because of what I'm eating and and all the ways that I was eating that I had a strong belief was showed lack of willpower and lack of character and all that kind of stuff. So I love hearing you describe like I'm working on my hydration now. I've decided to go full lion. I'm giving that a go now. How long have you
Mm.
been full lion for?
Well, I did have prawns on Saturday, but other than that,
Yeah.
about a week. But
Yeah.
I think about a baby, when their primary fuel source is milk, and
Yeah.
then you wean them onto solid foods. And
Yeah.
so, it's that kind of process, isn't it? That you're weaning your body off of the previous, fuel source and letting it recalibrate to the new fuel source.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. That is a really great analogy. And did you know babies are born in ketosis?
Mm. But
Yeah,
I
they're
know
born in
my daughter is a self-confessed carnivore now. She was saying to me the other day, it was hilarious. Yesterday, she said, "I think from now on,
which
mummy, I
one?
should
Which
just have
how old is she?
the
How old?
youngest. She's 8. She's 8.
Okay.
So she said, I think from now on, and she's the one that didn't start speaking till she was 4. So she used to,
Yeah.
when she started speaking, she'd come up and she said, "Mummy, can I taste that smell?" And I'd say, "Yes, darling, you can taste that smell." So I'd give her a bit of my food because we're trying to increase, because of the sensory stuff with her autism, we're trying to
Yeah.
increase her palate. And she said to me yesterday, she said, "I think I might just need to have steak like you, mummy, now." And she said, "With the exception of pizza." She said, "I think my tummy would probably be okay with pizza. But other than that, you should probably cook me steak." Okay, darling. So she's hilarious. Pizza is the exception. She feels her tummy would be okay with pizza.
Yeah. Well, there's carnivore pizzas too. That
Well, I think as I need to get myself done first.
yeah, yeah.
And then, I mean, we've already made radical changes in the home anyway, because I just see food differently now. But as we
Yeah.
get, as I get myself stabilized, then I think it'll be trickling out much more to the kids, which will be great.
Well, you're taking care of yourself now for the first time, making yourself a priority in decades, and it's already paying off. It's going to keep paying off, keep paying dividends, and ultimately, I don't think that gallbladder surgery is ever going to happen.
Well, we have delayed it until May. So, yes.
And you haven't
It,
had any other flare-ups. The only one in the whole 13 weeks was that one that happened after you ate those processed ribs that had that sticky sugary sauce on it and
yeah.
seed
Yeah.
oils
And
and
that
stuff.
was like, I was punished severely for that. So I've done my penance.
That was your body
Yeah.
just going, "Feedback, it's just feedback. It's not punishment, it's feedback." And you were like,
My God, it was punishment. It
"Feedback,
was
take it."
109 hours of punishment. Yeah. I think God made his point really well.
Well, I'm so glad that you're still feeling so awesome, and it's exciting about your weekend of getting rid of stuff from the closet. So I look forward to seeing you next week and checking in with you again and finding out how you're going and if you have any other questions with your hydration and things like that, how that's going. And like I said, I'll post the link in the show notes below about to that low carb done under presentation that I listened to yesterday that I thought was really helpful for anybody watching who wants to check that out. Cathy, thank you so much for joining me again. Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you next Monday.